Yo, what's up, guys? Proof Punch Savior here, and I'm here with the interview with Kimura, Yuito, and Fukuhara Tetsuya 2020. So this is basically after Granblue Fes. He did an interview with the two directors, right? And director and producer of Granblue Fantasy. Let's talk about Granblue Fantasy Versus and Relink. But I'm here for the focus of Versus. If you haven't known this man already, he's like fucking godlike, right? He's a saint. He translates everything Granblue related. Granblue Fantasy Versus Link, all that stuff. If you haven't followed him on Twitter, you should if you want anything Granblue related news in English. It's Granblue_EN. He's super sick. Alright, back to this though. So, in this interview, they talk about a variety of stuff. I skimmed through it. Excuse. Talk about the DLCs, the RPG mode, and I guess their reaction to the Western reaction, right? So in this first part, right, could you please tell us the story behind the FKHR mask? We talk about being like pre-order, right? And I guess should just read the whole thing. Well, we talk about providing some sort of bonus for pre-ordering Versus, but we have pre-orders for it open for quite a while now. So we made the bonus something that had real value. Then the people who had already pre-ordered it would be at a disadvantage. And so we decided to give something that'd be really fun right then and there at Fest. A physical item, not an in-game item. And with Fukuhara-san really working hard on Versus, we thought, okay, let's make it a Fukuhara-san mask. It's in his Kobayashi Toro. Looks pretty similar to him. We decided to mix in his mask and his face as well as a rare drop. So, SSR. That's pretty funny. So that's the story behind the mask and why everybody in Granblue Fes was wearing that. That shit was pretty cool. Right? Here's the real shit that I'm excited about, right? Oh no, not this. Well, I guess I could read this too. Has the reaction to the roster DLC for Granblue Fantasy Versus been as you expected? FKHR said, yes, I think so. The player seems to be happy with all the characters that we announced. So all the characters that they announced was whoops. Chaos Springer, Narmia, Saurus, and Vegeta. They haven't announced the 5th character yet. And I think they're going to announce it at March, which is the Granblue Fantasy anniversary, I think. Or something like that. So they're saving it for March or April. One of those. Alright, Granblue English. As the character pass release schedule is very aggressive right now, 2 characters per month. What is the intended pace for release after this? So I think the plan was March, April, May. Yeah. So I think March is going to be Chaos bringing in Norm, and then May is like Saurus and Vegeta. Damn, there's 2 characters per month. Damn, that's a lot. And then they already announced season 2, right? Belial's gonna be in season 2, which is super sick. Kimura answered back saying, well, we're planning for there to be a pause between passes 1 and 2. And then FKHR said, and the 5th character is being released not too long after April 2020. After their release, there's Rage and other tournaments, so no other new characters will be added for a while. So we're going to have to complete season 1 roster, I want to say before Evo. That's what it's looking like. Because it seems FKHR has like, you know, I don't want to say esports, but he has the competitive scene in mind. And he seems like you want to release everything. If you have the competitive scene in mind, then he definitely should be thinking about Evo, and all the Season Pass 1 characters should be released before Evo, or at least the Arc Revel Tour. If that's what I'm getting from this statement. KMR answer: after Season 1, there will be a number of tournaments that happen one after the after, and then after some time passes after that, we're considering releasing Season 2 content. Judging from that statement, oh, you said it right there. So after Evo, right? At the very least, it'll be after summer. Damn, word, after summer. I'm taking that. So summer in Japan is always like August. If you play like gacha games or anything like a Japanese MMO, whatever, some shit like that, right? Summer's always in August. At least the games I play. And they always do summer events in August. Like the end of August too. So I'm thinking September, October, November, December. Damn, they do that Season 2? Under a year, that's kind of quick. I'm thinking after Arc Revel though, right? December. He informed after Evo, Season 2 content could be released. He said at the very least, it'll be after summer. So I'm thinking December, honestly. KMR said there will be a little time after the tournaments before Season 2 releases. If they saying tournaments, and like I said earlier right here, they're thinking about like the competitive scene, and Granblue Fes have a Arxis War Tour, they're going to release Season 2 content after the War Tour. That would make more sense. Getting down and dirty with DLC. Alright, this is what they're talking about, RPG mode. Granblue asked, will DLC expand RPG mode? KMR said, yes, we have plans to update RPG mode. FKHR informed, while it won't be at the same pace as Granblue Fantasy mobile game, they're planning to add it to the story of Granblue Fes. I think that's super sick. Because I think Granblue Fes story mode is going to be really good. It's in Arxis, right? Visuals. But it's still going to be Granblue Fantasy. And I'm still pretty new to the series. I started in December. I'm loving Granblue Fantasy story so far. It's really good. And I really love the sprite. But seeing it animated would be super, super good. It would be cool, man. So that's pretty good news to me. They plan to expand it. Will only be added at the same time as the new characters, so separate piece of DLC. FKHR answered back, characters like Narmia and Sores will have a bit of a story included when they are added, but there are also be content addition for the main story. There will also be content addition added. Okay, I see. He asked, if the new character drop, would there be more, I guess, single player content, right? RPG mode, story mode. FKHR added yes. Also content. That's what I'm getting. More story? Okay, more story. Thank you, KMR. FKHR said yes, after the main story ending is completed, there'll be updates that continue the storyline. Damn. Good shit. Nice. Did you really want to go deep in this main story? I wonder if the main story is going to be a visual novel aspect, or they're going to make it like visual novel and then RPG mode, and then visual novel RPG mode. I feel like that's what they're going to be doing. Granblue English asks, will DLC characters be usable in games RPG mode? KMR and FKHR says yes. Okay, cool. And then Granblue asks, at Tokyo Game Show 2019, you said that Gran almost did not make it into the game. How does this affect the decision to put Vegeta into the game? FKHR answer, right? When it was decided to include Gran, we made the decision to include Vegeta as well, but it would have been difficult to include her in the initial roster, so we decided to make her a DLC character. Her development was started very early in the game production. Damn! So they made her very early, but then they dropped the project, and then they're going to make her DLC. That's kind of cool. Oh, she came out April. Oh, shit. Yeah, Solar's and hers coming out April. February, April. Wait a minute. March, April. Wait, March, April. Oh, okay. I was about to say, what? Ravi is supposed to come out first. Yeah, she come out April. Okay, and then Granblue asks, how will Vegeta work in RPG mode? Will she replace Gran? How does it work having both in universe? Excuse me. FKHR informed them this ties into her being an additional character. Since this is a fighting game, both of them will end up existing at the same time. So we had to work out a good way for this to happen. We hope the players will enjoy how we done that. Granblue asks, will familiar tunes return for characters like Belio? For example, Paradise Lost. That song is super sick, by the way. Played in the trailer. FKHR is said Paradise Lost is used in game. Paradise Lost is used in game. I wonder. I hope you could use it inside, like in battle or whatever. You can pick that song. That'd be super tight. Granblue asks, should we expect new composition for DLC characters? FKHR said all the DLC characters will receive specific themes created for them. Are you planning on making music for Granblue Fantasy available as playable track? Ooh, jukebox mode? Is he asking for that? No, I don't think he's asking for a jukebox mode, but I think he's just asking if Granblue Fantasy OST will be inside Versus. I think it'll be like in a remix. I wonder if they're gonna put the original version. Well, we'll find out now. The FKHR answered, well, they will not be used during battle, but in RPG mode. The original Granblue Fantasy piece. Oh, damn. Pieces will be used during the story parts and quest parts. Quest parts? Dang. I'm starting to like this RPG. It's sounding pretty good. So you can't use it in battle, but it'll be in the story and the side stuff. I hope they have a jukebox mode. Excuse me. Granblue asks, is the process for making music for Granblue Versus different from making music for the main Granblue Fantasy game, since there are more composers? FKHR answered back, this isn't something I had to spend that much time on. For example, Narita Tsutomu is Narita, so we don't really need to advise him on anything. Nishiki Yasunori is working on the background music for the anime with Narita help, so he's already familiar with the feel on how the music for Granblue Fantasy is and how to create melodies for it. The other composers are the staff at Picnic, who we've been working with since the very first character song. They have a good understanding of what we look for. Then Narita and I checked the completed tracks. If there's anything we want to adjust it, then it is, but there is rarely needed. In the end, I feel that we end up with high quality music that fits Granblue Fantasy. It is pretty fucking good. I remember I really liked Vasaraga, Lativa, I Love Fairies, and who else? I think Zeta had a good one too. I have to go back. Lil Wayne's was pretty good too. I like Lil Wayne. Some people didn't like Lil Wayne. I like Lil Wayne. And I think that's all I can remember so far. So their music is pretty high quality. Granblue English asks, is there going to be a continuity between Fantasy, Versus, and Ring Link? If so, how is this affecting story planning? FKHR answer, Ring Link. That was mentioned at some point a while ago, but it takes place away from the main story in a new region of the world. But Versus will be parallel world to Fantasy main story. As an example, Belial will be showing up and allies will be fighting one another. So treating it as a parallel story might be the right way for some folks to think about. Granblue asks, Granblue Versus has led to an increased amount of travel for you, FKHR. Do you see this continuing in 2020? KMR's like, well, it looks like he'll be doing more traveling. Yes, FKHR answer, it does look that way. Granblue asks, where to? It didn't. This is probably the part where they show their reaction to the Western fans. I'm gonna just read the interview. FKHR asks, that's a good question. America is, and KMR interrupted saying, where will you be going? FKHR laughs. KMR answered back, you might be going to a variety of places, but probably the best way to think about it. Granblue asked him, after he experienced the Anime Expo, Evo, and Arc Revel USA, what's your impression of overseas players? FKHR informed, when I went overseas, I discovered that the Granblue Fantasy players were more passionate about the main game itself than I had thought they would be. I was happy that there were so many big fans of the game, as big as the ones here in Japan, and a little surprised. KMR also answered, I've been going a fair number of places now since last year. I already knew that there were a lot of people that love Granblue Fantasy and various locals, and I want to share that information with members of the team, so I've been taking some of them with me during these trips. Granblue asked, how was their reception of you? KMR answered, we were pretty surprised by their reception. I'd like to ask them more about different things. I wonder if they like the same things about Granblue Fantasy as the Japanese players and such. The overseas players seem to like the same characters as the Japanese players based on the surveys, which has been a bit of a surprise. I didn't know that. Dang, really? Okay. FKHI answered, that's true. KMR answered, he thought that would be different. Oh, we're gonna talk about Soras now. That's cool. Granblue asked, of the Fist users, why was Soras the one chosen, as opposed to Feather or other melee character, right? FKHR answered, well, Soras is a punching and kicking character, while Lativa is a pro wrestler, which is a bit different. First, there wasn't a character who primarily used their fist to fight yet. In fighting games, it's common for there to be an old man in the cast, and there wasn't a human with a large frame either. So Soras filled 3 points, so that's why he made the cut. He's huge, he's a big body, he's old man, and he used his fists. So that's why he made the cut. That's sick. In addition, on a Granblue note, Soras is historically the oldest character who fights primarily by punching. So we chose him because we felt that he worked as a representative, the bare-handed martial artist character. Now I really want to see what he plays like. Kind of hyping him up, I'm not gonna lie. Will Soras be released with Samagata Tsutokoto as his theme? Sorry, I butchered that. Sora's theme is going to be the arrangement of Samagata Tsutokoto. There won't be any vocal track, so it's just going to be straight instrumental. Okay. No more Soria. Granblue. asks, can players look forward to being able to play as other antagonist character in Granblue Versus in the future? Camar's like, we don't know yet. FKHI asks, that's true. For now, we can't really speak to that. If we add villains character beyond Belial and Chaos Bringer, it'll make things even more complicated for the current framework. There is something we want to be very careful when we consider it. So, I'm not too sure they want to add more villains. And that's the end of that interview for Granblue Fes Versus. In the beginning, it did say it's part 1. Part 2 hasn't been released yet as of now. But I think they're going to go deep into Relink. And I already read this a little bit. So Relink, they're going to basically, I think this is the most important information for me. They asked the release date, right? Or announcements. And then they informed them Versus is going to be released this year. So they won't say anything till next year. Excuse me. So by next year, I'm sorry. I'm thinking they're going to say something in December for Granblue Fes. Yeah, summer or winter. That's most likely Granblue Fes. And let's go back to the Granblue Versus interview. Overall, what I got from it is the DLC planning. It seems like, I don't know, there's a possibility of them releasing season 2 like a little bit this year. They say after Evo, but I'm thinking if they say they have like the competitive scene in mind, right? Tournaments like Rage and the other tournaments, so no new other characters will be added for a while. I'm thinking they might not release anybody till Granblue Versus Arc Revelatour is done. And that's pretty long though. April? That's April, May, June, July, August, September, November. Dude, that's 6 months. That's 6 months. Fuck no. That's a long ass time. I'm thinking, nah, that's too long. After Evo, dang. If they're gonna release someone after Evo, it has to be around September. It can't be October because that's kind of too close to November. And November is what I want to say is when Arc Revel Tour ends. So either, damn, that'd be fucked up to release it. Oh, it could be November. Oh, Day 1 DLC. Tekken did that shit, right? Tekken did that shit where they finish up Tekken World Tour and DLC's tomorrow. So I'm thinking November actually. Because December is pretty long, but then that's also Granblue Fes. Granblue Fes. Either November or December, in my opinion, is when they're gonna release season 2, Belial, and then announce others. And then they also talk about RPG mode, which is, I think, is pretty good. I'm glad they want to focus more on the main story in RPG mode, but people that want to enjoy just the single player content, just the Granblue Fantasy players, so they got something to enjoy more too than just the main story. After they bought the game, they can buy DLC to expand the main story, or they can watch it on YouTube. They don't want to buy it, but then we get to play RPG mode. But I think they'll probably be okay with that. I'm gonna buy it. I'm definitely gonna buy it. I want to see. I'm glad they want to focus more on single playing content, which is pretty good and pretty rare for a fighting game. Most fighting games don't really do single player content DLC. I think the last one I heard was just frame data for Tekken and punishing mode, which is pretty cool. So after they want to expand DLC, yeah, after April, so they probably won't release characters until November or December is what I got from this interview, maybe. And they want to expand the single player content, which is cool. I like that a lot. And they're talking about the OST Paradise Lost is going to be in the game, but then it answers it's going to be like in versus mode or just going to be in story. I hope it's in versus mode. But it's not in the thing. Dang, Paradise Lost is not in the thing. That's messed up. It's alright, I already got it downloaded. They're talking about the OST, talking about his reaction, and it's going to travel more. He's pretty shocked on the Western audience. He didn't think there'll be. I think he in his head thought, damn, nobody played Granblue Fantasy in the West because that shit's not even out in the West. You gotta get like a JP account. But it is translated, so there might be some. That's what he thought. There's a bunch of people, which is cool. So he's probably with that reaction, I hope it changes perspective that not just Japan love Granblue, but worldwide, and then he'll go for more global release date. And then I did mention in another video, I hope that damn, it was probably too late for Versus 4. I hope it at least transition to his future games like Green Link and hopefully others to do worldwide release. That'd be cool. So now he's pretty happy that pretty happy about the Western audience. And then to talk about why Sodas was picked. Sodas was picked because he's an old man, he's big body, and he's cool as fuck. And his theme song is gonna be instrumental only. And then they don't know about adding more villains too. So that's the summary of it. This interview was really cool. I really liked it. I enjoy it. Please follow Granblue_EN on Twitter. This man's a saint. I said it earlier on stream. He's so sick for interviewing him. That's so awesome. And translated to English. That's super sick. Anyway, yep, that's about it. That sums about it for the interview. There's going to be a part 2. I don't know when, but I feel like part 2 is going to just talk more about Green Link. So I'm not going to get too deep into that because Green Link's not even going to come out 2020. That shit most likely 2021. Maybe. I appreciate you guys watching. Thanks for stopping by. And I hope you guys have a cool day. Alright, later. See ya.